Hello everyone. Let's just warm up with the video and then I'm back with a new guest. You can already see him. Welcome, dear audience. Welcome here at the Global Empowerment Summit. This is the third year that we are bringing empowering people in front of you. And I'm so happy to have you here with us. And in the studio, we have one of my old friends, Derick Mildred, who is supporting me throughout the years. And I'm so happy to bringing back people from the first year. Brian just was here. We had Bob back from Canada. So it's so heartwarming that we are catching up with each other through a live event, a live stream to all our platforms. So Derick, how are you? How have you been?
I'm well and delighted to be here. Thank you very much for inviting me. It's great to be here.
Yes, it's so nice to see your face and then to meet again. And we catch up time to time on LinkedIn. But I'm always asking first a question. Tell us something. What happened to you in your personal and your professional life? I knew about your car, but you can also tell something else.
Okay, well, my personal life or my health part of my life, just recently, I should probably qualify it by saying I am your typical average male. Sometimes I'm stubborn, and for many years I have been somewhat reluctant to go to a doctor. I don't know what it is with us guys, but unless we've got an arm that's hanging off or something like that, we'll think, yeah, it'll be fine by tomorrow and we won't worry about the doctor. Well, I had a very scary experience about 3 weeks ago now, where I literally went through about 4 hours of severe chest pains, and it literally scared the daylights out of me. And I took 4 lots of fish oil capsules, which may have alleviated the problem. I honestly don't know. And the last thing I'm going to do is give anybody any medical advice. But what I did do is I gave it a time limit. I said, if this doesn't stop by a particular time, then I am personally going to drive myself to hospital. I'm not going to worry about calling an ambulance. I will just go there myself. I had already made a doctor's appointment and couldn't get in to see the doctor for several days. And thankfully, the pains subsided. I went off to the doctor a couple of days later, had numerous tests done, and went back and got test results, which all came back negative. And then I had more tests done and more tests results, which again came back negative. And eventually the doctor said to me, look, if it happens again, do what you wanted to do, go off to hospital, because they'll do even more tests there. And also, if it happens again, that he would refer me to a cardiologist. So I thought, well, that's encouraging. But the experience taught me some incredibly valuable life lessons. When I was going through that, it's amazing what goes over your mind. And you start thinking about the things that you wanted to do that you haven't done, the things that you wanted to experience that you haven't done, the things that you wanted to say to people that you haven't said. All sorts of thoughts go through your mind. And so it was also a life-changing event for me. And I assure you that I will now be visiting my GP for regular checkups at least twice per year from now on. So guys, if you are having any issues of any kind, don't wait for it to go away tomorrow. Just ring up the doctor, make an appointment, go and see them, and make sure it's nothing sinister or it's nothing dangerous or bad. Just do it. So that was my experience. Can't hear you. I cannot hear you.
Check in with yourselves, check in with your health, like Derick said, and make sure that you are going to checkups regularly. Yes. This is the first tip from our expert today, this morning.
Absolutely. If you've got anything that's playing up or anything that's not right, yeah, just go after it and see a GP. Don't be a typical stubborn male and say it'll be fine tomorrow. Just go and see a GP.
And I also want to say hi to the audience who's watching us. Elchan already tuning in, and Ambreen is also here, a big fan of you. So that's great to have Derick here in the studio. I'm the fan of Derick too.
Hi, Ambreen. How are you?
Share this candidly here. Okay. So Alchan is asking, what is the secret formula you will be sharing? Because I put the title, the results formula, and I'm following your journey on LinkedIn. And basically, you are helping people to make a great and long-lasting impression, right?
Yes.
And it's on LinkedIn. So I'm really looking forward to a conversation. What has developed since you started, and today, like what have been happening since your journey? You published several lists about LinkedIn influencers, upcoming influencers. You were continuously showing up every Monday, sharing your quotes and uplifting people. And then also you are sharing tips and uplifting other people by helping them to show up better. So tell us a little bit more about what you do and why you do it.
Okay, I'm a LinkedIn for Business specialist. And so what I do is I show people how to build, grow, and scale their business using LinkedIn. Now, a gentleman earlier on just asked me about the formula that I would be sharing today. First of all, I'm going to give you some valuable tips, and they can be applied very quickly and very easily. First of all, the way that I look at LinkedIn, to me, LinkedIn is the world's largest database of businesses, their owners, and their employees. And as a matter of fact, there's over 57 million businesses and organizations registered on LinkedIn. So that gives you an idea of the size, the scope of that database. And when you think about it as a database, I'm sure many people will agree, that's actually describes it very well. That's actually exactly what it is. Yes, it's got its social media side and your profile side, etc. And when you think of it as a database, think about your profile. Your profile presents you, your brand, your business, your products, your services, your solutions to your target audience within that database. So what does your profile say about you? Okay, to your audience. And an important part about that, or an important key to that, is when you are writing, creating, developing your profile, and it's an ongoing work in progress. It will never be 100% perfect. You're going to make adjustments and updates to that over time. When you're creating your profile or writing your profile, it's a good idea to present it from the position of the WIFT formula, or what's in it for them, what's in it for your target audience. Okay, so lots of you type conversation. Look at it this way. If you walk into a nightclub, a bar, or somewhere like that, and you meet somebody and you start talking to them, if every sentence that comes out of their mouth starts with the word or the letter I, okay, you quickly lose interest. And you think to yourself, well, this person's only interested in talking about themselves, so I'm out of here. All right. Whereas if that person shows some genuine interest in you and starts talking in you type conversation, okay, then you have a lot more interest. Okay, you feel, hang on, this person wants to know more about me. They're genuine, they're sincere, they're showing some interest. Okay, so you want to structure your profile with a lot of you type conversation. Write it from the position of what's in it for your target audience. Okay, that's number one. Number two, not only is LinkedIn a database with its social media side and with your profile, LinkedIn is also a tool that you use to get the conversation started. Okay, it's a tool that you use to establish, build, and nurture that relationship, so that ultimately, when the time is right, you can take that conversation to the next level, which is actually away from LinkedIn. Okay, now there's an unwritten rule of LinkedIn, and that is that you should never sell on LinkedIn. Okay, and pretty much everybody knows what it's like, how it feels when you receive that sales pitch inside your inbox. Okay, so
In a message. I receive it every day.
you get it every day. Okay, and so you log into LinkedIn, you open up your inbox, you see some messages there from people that you know, people that you're connected to, and then there's this one, and it's usually a couple of paragraphs long for some reason, and it's a sales pitch. Okay, and you can immediately recognize it almost as soon as it comes in, as soon as you open it up, and you see how long it is. And you think, oh, no, not another one. Okay. And Andrea, you know what it's like. Okay. You get them every day. And most of us react in exactly the same way. Okay. And the reason that we react in that particular way is because it's too early in the conversation.
It's not a conversation starter, right? By
exactly.
this comment. Why would I?
Exactly. And so instead, what you do is you use LinkedIn as a tool to get the conversation started, as a tool to build on that know, like, and trust factor, okay? So that you can establish, build, and nurture that relationship. So when the time's right, you take the conversation away from LinkedIn. And that conversation away from LinkedIn can be a face-to-face meeting. It can be a Zoom call, a Skype call, an invitation to an event, etc. And it's during that conversation away from LinkedIn where you might talk more about the problems that your prospect is experiencing, the solutions that you offer, how you can possibly help them, the fees that you might charge, etc. Okay, and so that's the key strategies that you use LinkedIn to basically build, grow, and scale your business.
And the good question here is that it's always very nice to hear it, but it's always so complex to hear it at the same time, right? So
not really when you break it down.
It's not so easy when you say it and then you do it, but when people just want to start with it and they just don't know, they are confused. What is the point where they start? What's the first thing? If I want to have a nice LinkedIn profile, if I want to attract people in the right way, if I want to have a strategy, what's the exact first step I have to take?
Okay, the first three things that people notice when they first open up your LinkedIn profile is your banner image, your face pic, and your headline. Okay, so make sure you've got a good banner image with a key benefit statement aimed squarely towards your target audience in the banner image, okay? Because your banner image is a little bit like the cover of a book. If you imagine you walk into a bookstore, it's that cover of that book, the title of that book that grabs your attention. You'll take that book off the shelf, you'll flick through it, and then decide if you're going to take the next step and purchase that book. Well, your banner image is one of the first things that people see. It's one of the things that helps people to decide if they're going to read further through your LinkedIn profile. So your banner image is really important. There's a couple of platforms that I recommend. One of them is called canva.com, which most people already know. The other one that I actually prefer to use is called snapper.com. snappa.com. I used Canva for years. It's a great platform. I then switched over to snapper.com for the one reason, and that is it allows me to download a high-res image. Okay, so I highly recommend for building your banner image, use the dimensions of 1584 by 396 pixels, okay, on either Canva or Snapper, and build yourself a banner image with a key benefit statement aimed towards your target audience. Think about what's in it for them. What are they going to get out of doing business with you? Okay, and include that in your banners, in your banner image. Your face pic, make sure you've got a nice, attractive, appealing face pic. Okay, I talk to a lot of people about their profiles, and thankfully I don't have to tell somebody you've got a terrible face pic, you need to change that. I've never actually had to do that. I just refer them to a website called photofeeler.com. Okay, and photofeeler.com is where you can actually test your face pic. Okay, face pics are a little bit of a challenge. Obviously, we want to put our best face pics forward, so to speak. But sometimes it's hard to figure out, is this the right one that I should use, or is that the right one that I should use? So you can actually test your face pics on Photo Feeler. You just upload your face pic. Members of the public will vote on it. and they'll give you some feedback on it. They will literally tell you how likable, how trustworthy, how influential, how competent you look. Okay, just from your face pic. And they'll give you some feedback as well. So they'll give you some comments on your face pic. And so this is valuable information if you're trying to figure out, is this the right face pic to portray me towards my target audience? Okay. The third one is your headline. And here is a strategy that you can use to create a headline. So you start off with I help X, which is your target audience. So I help, add your target audience, achieve Y. Y is their most desired result with my Z. And Z is your product, your services, your exclusive process, if you have one, or something like that. And then finally, see social proof below, see recommendations below, see case studies below, or a call to action. So I help X achieve Y with my Z. I help X, your target audience, achieve their most desired result with the particular process, products, or services that you offer. Okay. So that's the first part of your profile. The next part of your profile.
I would ask back because I don't want to rush into it. I have so many questions in the first part. So a lot of people are trying to make it superficial, like they put extra emojis, they put some extra names behind their names. There's so many things on the top. Like, do you advise people do that, or how is it in your experience? What is the best? Or is there anything like that, like best?
Okay. In the name field, you do see some people who have some qualification abbreviations that they put in there, and that's okay. But if you put anything else in there, it's actually against LinkedIn's terms and conditions. And you'll get away with it for a period of time. And then what will eventually happen is you'll receive a message from LinkedIn that said, it's been reported to us that you have some extra wording in your name that is not related to your name at all. Okay. Or words to that effect. And they'll tell you that it's against the terms and conditions, and to reduce the possibility of restrictions on your account, you need to remove those wording from your name field, or that wording from your name field. And so the best thing to do is just literally put your name in there. Having said that, you can create a company page, and you can create a company page with your name and whatever else you like after it. And there's no
so it's not your personal profile. You are creating a separate LinkedIn page, like a company page, and there you are actually branding yourself as you want, because you can use it like that. Okay, as an alternative. And what about hashtags and emojis and changed characters with specific apps that are making your letters look better and bold and all these kind of things?
Okay, changing the characters with different fonts. I understand why people use that, because it does help certain aspects of their profile stand out. And it just makes perfect sense. I mean, why wouldn't you if you've got those available? However, there's a problem with them, and that is it affects where your profile comes up in the search results. So don't use them.
So basically stick to the basic, make a nice header, make a nice profile, have a nice, I do this X and for people like because of this and to do this. So you put all this together in a very simple, nice way, and that will be much better ranking than any flick flags and beautiful roses and black letters.
You can use icons, but don't go overboard with them. I have seen a couple of profiles where I've opened up the profile. I was like, wow. For all the wrong reasons. But yeah, just don't go overboard with the icons or the symbols, etc., especially in your headline. The other thing too with your headline is LinkedIn is also a search engine, just like Google, just like Facebook, YouTube, etc. And so it relies on keywords to rank your profile. Is one of the criteria that it uses to rank your profile. So in your headline, you want to try and include your keywords as well.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? But only your top 3 keywords.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Now, there's a platform called wordtracker.com, and you can go over there, and I think from memory they give you 5 free searches to check your keywords and the search volumes of those particular keywords. The beautiful thing about wordtracker.com is they will also give you competitive keywords. Okay, so if you're not sure if the particular keyword idea that you have in mind is the highest ranking keyword for that particular keyword, then it will give you the other keywords that are very similar and associated, and the rankings where they are, okay, or their own rankings, how many times they're searched for in the last month. So that's valuable information. Add the top 3 keywords to your headline. Make sure those top 3 keywords also match your top 3 skills, and then also use those top 3 keywords throughout the content of your about and experience sections.
So we already have a few tools. I put them in the comments so you can scroll up and check it. So we had Canva and Snappa for the banners and all the graphical design. We had Photo Feeler for checking out how your photo is performing, and then we had Word Tracker to check the keywords that you use, but use only 3 of them and mention them also in the about section. And in the meantime,
experience section, and also your top 3 skills.
Top 3, okay, perfect. So I think the audience already can make a note of this and go straight away to your LinkedIn profiles and try to already upgrade them and change them, because that's how it starts with the implementation. And we have a lot of questions coming up. Udumna is very curious here. So the first one is it good to add more than one title? That's the first question.
That's a good question. In the experience section, yes. For one of my experience sections, I have 3 titles from memory. And the sole reason why those are there is for Google search. So yes, you can have more than one title in your experience sections. Yeah.
Okay, so that's the first question. She has 3. The second one is, how can one write a compelling about you section? I saw so many about sections. I don't know exactly what's the best thing to do there. Should it be long, short? Tell us a little bit about this.
In your about section, you've got 2,600 characters to use, and I highly recommend that you try to use as many of them, if not all of them. Okay. Now, with the start of your about section, when people first open up your LinkedIn profile, your about section is compressed and you can only see the first 2 lines. And if you check how your profile or anybody's LinkedIn profile displays on your mobile phone, for example, your cellular phone or your mobile phone, versus how it displays on your desktop or laptop, your about section displays a little bit differently. And what you will find is on your mobile phone, only about 2/3 of that first line will display on your mobile phone. So basically that first line on your about section should be one of 2 things, either an attention grabbing headline or just tell people exactly what you do. Okay, one or the other, but importantly, check it on your mobile so you can see how it displays, and if you've got it the right length so that you can get that whole line or that whole sentence that you want to get across, that attention grabbing headline or that sentence exactly about you that displays as you want it on your mobile phone. Okay, then think about it objectively. You want to encourage people to read through your about section, but also to understand a little bit more about you. So what I do is I take a leaf from Tony Robbins, and Tony Robbins says we do things in life for 2 reasons: to avoid pain and to gain pleasure. So I asked them about their pain points, okay? Because the services and the solutions that I provide are the solutions to those very pain points.
So it means that on the top of your profile, top of your about will be, okay, are you struggling with blah, 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 blah. So
Exactly.
you are asking the question, and then after you are, okay, then I'm here for you, and I do this, 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 this. And if I do this, you will have this, 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 right?
Exactly. Yep. And then importantly, in your about section, includes usually one testimonial, so some social proof. And yes, and the other thing is at the end of your about section, have a call to action and your contact details. Even though your contact details are up in the contact section, include them also at the end of your about section, because I'm a firm believer you want to make it as easy as possible for people to be able to reach out, get in touch with you, contact you, especially after they've just read all about what you do, how you can help them, the solutions that you provide, etc. Okay, so that's your about section. Your about section is written from the position of what's in it for them, what's in it for your target audience, but it's about you yourself as well. Okay, but aimed towards your target audience. So again, lots of you type conversation. Your experience section is written from the point of view of your business. Okay, what your business provides. Okay, and the solutions around that. At the base of your experience section, and your experience section, you're only allowed 2,000 characters. At the base of your experience section, I also recommend that you add media as well. You can add videos, PowerPoints, PDFs, case studies. It just makes your profile that much more interesting to the viewer, to the reader of your LinkedIn profile. And finally,
I think I have to call you back, Derick, because it's like you have so many questions. I just cannot bring all them up. So maybe in the next 4 weeks, if you have a half an hour again, then I will call you back.
Not a problem.
Okay, so what did you want to mention?
The final point that I was going to say is down the bottom of your LinkedIn profile, you have recommendations. Okay, and try to get as many recommendations as you possibly can. These are your social proof. They are your testimonials. And these days, you can never have too much social proof. Okay, so become comfortable, get comfortable with actually asking people for a recommendation. Because it's vital. If you have a low number of recommendations right now, all the more reason to get started.
But it's like, can it go overboard? Like I see so many profiles with like, not meaningless, but so many recommendations, and half of them is like, you don't see the connection. So it seems like it's just made up recommendations. So how you can make sure that the recommendation still stays as a valid referral, and it's not a collection of people, okay, write me a recommendation, and pushing people until they come and they put something there, right?
Okay. LinkedIn recommendations on your profile, the way LinkedIn has it set up, and it's very good the way they've done this, you can only receive a recommendation from a first level connection. Okay, and so basically they cannot be faked, they cannot be fudged, they're genuine. Some recommendations are much better than others based on how they're written. The other thing that I would recommend is you want to have received a lot more recommendations than what you've given, and try not to have too many matching names. Because the audience can see if you've got
that you did there and back.
yeah, they can see it's two people helping each other out. Okay, and that can damage the authenticity of your recommendations, and therefore the authenticity of your brand. Okay, so ultimately what you want is to have received a lot more than you've given with minimal matching names.
Derick, I want to ask you, because our official time is up, but my guest is a bit late. So can you stay a little bit longer and answer the questions?
Absolutely.
You're so perfect. So Nena is asking the next one, the next question. The difference between articles and posts on LinkedIn, what's the difference? I guess it's from the length and the things, like why would people write an article, and why posts, and which one is better?
Posts are something that you put up every day. Okay, an article, you might do one article a week, And the article is basically a long form article. Again, look at adding value without selling to your audience, okay? Because whether it's a post or whether it's an article, what you're literally doing is you're positioning yourself as an authority in your industry, as somebody who's good at what you do. Okay. I put up posts every day. I've written over 190 articles, and I did very well business-wise out of them several years ago. For me, these days, I personally don't write articles, although I am about to change that. But articles, the main difference is they're mainly long form. They're much longer than most posts that you see out there.
1 minute. I just had to get back because I have to reach Victor in the same time. So I think the article and the post is, for me, it's interesting to see also like which one is, I don't know. At one time in LinkedIn, I saw a lot of articles popping up. Nowadays, there's a lot of newsletters popping up.
Yep.
And then I see that articles as such, it's not popping up for me anymore, that from people who I follow. So does it mean that it's changed to this newsletter function and it switched?
Yep. Most people are doing newsletters right now, and they're building up a good following by doing that.
Okay. So that's also a new idea to explore, guys. And then we have Alchen asking here, how do we create a short video in the circle on our profile? I remember I was having so much fun with that one.
You shoot that on your phone, and you've got 30 seconds to do it. So you've got to rehearse it a couple of times to get it right. What I do recommend is actually type yourself out a little bit of a script, and then sticky tape it to anything that you can find. I know somebody who actually sticky taped it to the fridge, okay, and then filmed themselves holding their camera with the script sticky taped onto the fridge. So yeah, you've got 30 seconds to shoot that video. So it does take a little bit of practice sometimes.
So Alchan, I want to see it, and then tag, please, Derick, that thank you for the advice, and then we can all see it for ourselves. So thank you so much. And then, okay, it's just not stopping. So just let me know when I have to let you go. So the next one is coming.
Yes, okay. All good.
How often should one update their CV and experience section?
The short answer to that is whenever you feel you need to. Your LinkedIn profile, just like your life, is like an ongoing work in progress. Okay, so when you've got new qualifications, for example, or you might have just finished studying a course or a degree or whatever, you might have just left a recent job, those are the times that you update your CV and your experience section.
So whenever something is updating, changing, then you just go back. And I saw some people also putting even like speaking arrangement. I saw it in Brian Schulman's platform or profile, that every time when he is doing a speaking keynote or something, he's putting it up like it's a new position. And it's a really amazing idea because it's popping up for everyone who is following him, right?
It's interesting that you mentioned that. LinkedIn has a feature where when you make an update to your profile, the standard setting is that a message goes out to the notifications section of all of your connections that Andrea has just updated part of her profile. Okay. And there's an unwritten rule on LinkedIn to actually turn that feature off because it was believed that it annoys the hell out of all your connections because you're just making a couple of updates to your experience section or something like that. I happen to know somebody who is one of the world's top LinkedIn coaches who leaves that section on, and he changes his banner image every couple of weeks, and a notification goes out to his entire connection list that he's updated his profile, and he uses that for marketing.
It's a great tool. It's a clever way. Yeah, it's a very
clever way of looking at it. It's a different way of thinking, and it's a very clever way of looking at it.
And it's not too, not something that you get annoyed to, because anyway, you are watching, if you are following someone, you are normally supporting them. So at least you are checking their posts and updates and profiles time to time. So it's a nice way to put it. Nice. Thank you, Derick, again for another tip. Andrea is asking, Andrea Stadthalter is here too. Can we put a call to action in the article, or should we leave this to posts only?
You can put a call to action in an article or a newsletter by all means. Absolutely.
All right, and then here you go to Jack. What if I want to post my ebooks? So far, I have 2 ebooks, but that's not for sales. It's just, just fostering reading habits amongst the young people. So, what would you say to Jack?
Okay. First of all, think about your objective. What is the objective that you have for those ebooks? What do you want to accomplish? Do you want to use those as a lead magnet, for example, and build up a mailing list so that you can then build an ongoing relationship with your audience via email? Okay. So that's one way that many people do use ebooks out there is to build a mailing list and to build the relationship with that particular audience. And it does work extremely well. That's why it's so popular. So yes, you can post about your ebooks, and then in the comments section, put the link to your landing page where people can enter their email address, their first name, and download your ebook.
And yeah, maybe that's a good idea for Jack, because she is just doing this for legacy to help people and to foster the reading. So basically she can put up a nice landing page where people can download those ebooks from a link. And then every time she's posting in any social media, she can put the link and then people just go and download. Very nice idea. You see, Jack, and I know that she will make it happen. She is the most self-actualized person I have ever known. So you will see this next week. Just tag Derick, tag also. Sure. Everyone who has been helped by Derick today, please tag if you are changing something so that he can come back to you and help you further. Yep. Okay, we have a few more. Udumna is asking, must one use pictures on posts or not? Yeah, I saw a lot of text messages nowadays. Is it popping up? The text is getting higher than the posts with pictures?
Okay, that's a good question. On average, I put up 3 posts a day, and 2 of those are text and image, and 1 of them is text only. Okay. It's a matter of what your objective is and what you want to accomplish. So, for example, you see people put up video posts. Now, in most cases, or in many cases, I should say, unless the video is really good, a text post or a text and image post can actually get more reach than a video post. But a video post can also increase your connections or followers more than a text or image post. Okay, so you've got to weigh up what your objective actually is. And the best advice that I can give is to actually test and measure the different types of posts and what works for you the best as per what you're trying to accomplish.
I think it's good to check in, right? To see, because every audience, every community, everyone who's following us, like my followers are not the same like your followers, Derick, or Udumna's followers, or Jack's followers. So you have to see what are they resonating with and do more from that, right?
I mean, some people will only do polls, for example. Other people will only do video. Other people will only do text posts. Other people will do carousels. Some people will do a blend of all of them or a mixture of all of them. So you literally have to test and measure and figure out what's right for you.
Perfect advice. And then what's the best use of hashtags? That's a good question here, because it's like, don't use more than 7 hashtags in a post. Don't put hashtags in your title on the top of your what about hashtags on LinkedIn?
Research has shown up to 9 hashtags work best with LinkedIn. 3 to 5 maximum get the best results. Okay, so 3 to 5.
3 to 5. All right. So remember, guys, Udumna, 3 to 5 hashtags. Okay. Andrea is coming back again. So what do you know about the new feature, clickable link? Is this meant to be used in captions?
Okay. It's interesting. In my contact section, I have 3 website links in there. Okay. Yet I don't have the clickable link. Okay, and I'm not certain, but I think it's because I have those 3 websites in there, because every profile that I've seen that has the clickable link, I go to their contact section and they've only got the one website in there.
Okay, so if you give more, then they don't give the option.
I've had 3 websites in my contact section for several years. So I'm not entirely sure if I want to remove 1 or 2 of those just so that I can have the clickable link here.
Yeah, I think it makes sense. And then the last question from Udumna, where one has about 4 jobs, including volunteering happening at the same time, should they be all added to one's headline? So if it's not 1 job, but many jobs or yeah, positioning, I guess that's the question.
4 jobs. Oh my God, you're busy. Okay. With your headline, the best thing to do is, number 1, you've only got 220 characters to use. Okay. So you've got to try and include the message that you want to get across in your actual headline. Now, if you're working 4 jobs, then it's going to be a little bit confusing to try and describe or detail accurately those 4 jobs in the one headline. Okay, so I would try to be general and talk more about you as a person, what you're good at, what you're passionate about, your areas of expertise, etc. Okay, instead of highlighting each of those 4 jobs. You can get away with 2, but I think anything more than that, you run the risk of starting to confuse the audience.
I think that's an awesome question, also because I believe for me, the struggle is in my own profile. Like I have the Global Empowerment Hub, which is my profile for my passionate giving back and contribution. And next to it, I have my newfound profession, which is event management, which became because of the Global Empowerment Hub, because I started this 3 years ago. And ever since, I'm just doing all these event platforms. And now I started live events also. And I was doing a course with Veronica, and we were talking, Veronica Safaousu, and we were talking about it. Okay, so I should talk more about events. And then I was like, okay, but what will be with my other work, the Global Empowerment Summit and the Hub, which I also want to talk about. So splitting between 2 different things that are very important for you, how would you structure those things? Like if people many of us wear many hats, I think.
Do you plan the events 365 days per year?
I have planned events. For now, it was only one time a year, but I'm planning to do it more. So more maybe quarterly next year with smaller workshops and so yeah, I plan.
Okay. So let's say your events is taking up 9 months of the year, and your Global Empowerment Summit, which is a fantastic event, takes up 3 months of the year. Okay, you could include both of those in your headline, or just that you're an event planner and focus around that for your headline. Okay, you can get away with 2, as I do in my profile.
What's your 2? I want to talk about you too. We were talking about so much. You were giving so much. So tell us a little bit more about what's your profile. What's your 2 things that you are about?
Well, I'm a LinkedIn specialist, but I also specialize in Facebook as well. So I'm a social media coach. I work with people in B2B as well as the real estate and the home finance industries. Those are my key niches that I work with. I have online courses, coaching and training as well. And that's basically it.
I will never forget our first encounter. I met you because someone was referring you, and then we went on my LinkedIn profile. It was 3 years ago, I think, or something. And then you started to analyze my profile, telling me tools, and I grew so much just in a very short time. I'm so thankful for you ever since. That I tried to follow anyone else for advice, and I was checking out, but I will never forget that first year, and I will always get back to your profile first before I start to search around, because it's really a great advice, and it's very simple, and the tools that you give, it's just making it much simpler, because sometimes it's just the decision is hard, like, okay, but is it good? And I remember that time you gave me also something that was also rating somehow what I wrote in the top, in the headlines. I think there was a tool for that. And
There
then
is.
it was,
There's a
it's still
platform called
existing?
Share Through. Yeah. It's still out there. I would have to send you through the link.
Yeah, because it was so wonderful, and I think that's why people have so much question. You have a waste knowledge in this platform, and you show up for so long. How long you are there on LinkedIn already?
How long have I been on LinkedIn?
Yes.
Officially, I signed up way back in 2004. However, I did very little with it until 2013.
2013. Okay, so it's like it's 9 years already for you to be active LinkedIner.
So what literally happened is a friend of mine walked into the office one day and she said that she had just heard LinkedIn described as the professional or the business version of Facebook. And I thought, that sounds interesting. Maybe I should have another look at that. And I managed to locate my old original login details because I hadn't logged in a long time, and logged in to discover I had 207 connections. And so it was in 2013 where my real journey on LinkedIn began.
So how is it now? I remember you have more, right? So how did you grow ever since then?
I'm up to about 27,000 connections and in total 61,000 followers.
Congratulations. I love
Thank
it.
you. Well, it sounds like a massive number, but I still describe myself as a little guy.
No, but
Because
I believe there are people who are collecting followers. There are people who have tons of followers, and there are people who have a small amount of followers, but they are real supporters. Like I show Andrea showing up for you, Ambreen showing up for you. So anytime where you show up somewhere and you are there for an interview, I see your people following you. It's the same like with Brian Schulman. I know that whoever Brian is coming somewhere, then Nancy is there, then Tim is there, so all the followers. This is for me real followership. This is something that you build authentic relationships, right?
that's the beautiful part about LinkedIn is you do make some amazing friendships. You'll meet some very supportive people. It's a wonderful community, and you will literally meet and befriend people from all over the world. Okay, you after a couple of years on LinkedIn, you will realize that you've got these friends literally all over the world. You could probably travel to any part of the planet and you'll never eat alone in a restaurant ever again.
That's so true. We were watching Brian's LinkedIn live videos, and he was going and visiting everyone and making a video about it. And we were both here in this morning crying because we were like watching, oh, Jesus Christ, he's doing it so long. And all these people, they come together and meet for the first time. And I'm just like, yeah, it's so beautiful. And you know that also this summit is mostly resourced from LinkedIn, all the connections, the referrals, the people who come and referring another person. So it's beautiful. It's really one of the most powerful platforms I think that I met, because it's giving the freedom of connecting individually and authentically with each other. And they made quite a nice platform.
It's probably, for me personally, it's the most genuine platform out there. And what I mean by that, the people that you meet, the conversations that you have, whether it's via your inbox, via comments on a post, or actually getting onto a Zoom call with them, the conversations that you have is just extraordinary, and the friendships that result from that. I've had conversations. I had a conversation with a person yesterday. The first time we've actually met, we've supported each other's content for quite some time. We got on the phone. We're on the Zoom call and then a WhatsApp call for a total of 2 hours. Okay, sorry, day before yesterday, and yeah, that's happened to me several times, and it's just an amazing platform for that. I haven't had that with any other platform.
Yeah, true. And I think this still, I hope they keep up, and they hope they keep the ownership like this. I hope they keep up also the little bit of control that they have, because I still love it that they also have some boundaries, and it's not just like all you can do. And I love that they are not too much controlling, like Facebook. Like I almost lost my 12,000 page follower because it's like they said it's not mine, and I was like, yes, it's mine. I built it, so give it back to me. So this ownership of your platform and your friends and your connections, and that you can take them down and then build new relationship and meet live with them, and then be friends. I think that's an amazing opportunity.
It's an amazing platform, and it's full of opportunities. It really is. It's
endless, right? It's endless if you make it, because some people don't get there. They just either start to sell or they reach out and they never follow up. So it's very important to put some effort in it and show up for your audience, for your followers, for your connections. Okay, I will let you go. We have one more question, and after this question, I will let you go. Thank you so much for staying for more this day. Today, it's kind of like disappearing and appearing experts day. And there are some days in this summit history, so I'm so cool with it because it already happened. So I experienced it, and today it's happening, I'm not freaking out anymore. So there is always a solution.
I know the work that goes on behind the scenes into organizing an event such as what you've got here, Andrea, so well done.
Thank you so much. So here is your last question, Derick, and thank you so much for patiently answering all of them. So Yuva is asking, what is the difference between a genuine about you post and the self-boasting one? Where is the boundary here?
That's a great question. It's not a straight line. Put it this way. Boasting is bragging, and it's okay to talk about your experiences in life, or whatever experiences that you've had or have gone through. But the minute you start to brag or boast, you will have people in your audience who become uncomfortable with that. Okay, and so the key is to try and be your genuine self without that boasting or without any bragging. Okay, and so look at it this way: how would you write that post? How would you have a conversation with your best friend? Okay, because your best friend's probably not going to put up with you boasting or bragging. They get very sick of it very quickly otherwise.
Yeah, they would be straightforward, like telling it to you, right?
Exactly. So write your post, and you can do this with any post. Doesn't necessarily have to be an about you post, but write your post as if you are having a conversation with somebody. Okay, and just be your genuine self. That's it.
So authenticity always comes forward, being human, staying human, being empathetic. And I think I see it also on the posts, like many times when I'm posting something about emotions, or someone posts about themselves, their struggles and all this. Nowadays, because of the situation we went through and all the issues behind and the mental health states, everyone is so resonating much more with the uplifting message, with a spiritual message, with something that is talking to the heart of the people, not about it's very funny, but even not about business. So if you post something about your profession and you tell okay, I have been into this professional event, I did this and this and that, it will get much less engagement and likes than if you say, okay, it's Saturday, chill and do something with your family, and you post a very nice pictures. It's really, it's good to see how the platform is changing and vibrating, and the topics are changing according to how the people feel outside, right?
Yep, absolutely. And the other point that I would say with regards to content is just try to be as consistent as possible, whether or not you're putting up one post a day or 2 or 3 posts a week. Just try to do that as consistently as possible. And the more that you do, the better at it that you will become. And don't worry too much about the vanity metrics, the numbers of impressions, the numbers of likes, the numbers of comments that you get, etc. Because I can promise you, nobody will remember the vanity metrics from your post of 2 weeks ago. And what's more, nobody will even bring that up in a conversation with you. Okay, so don't worry too much about it. Just try to be consistent and put that content out there. The more content that you do, the better at it you will become.
And I think this will answer also Udumna's question, because she doesn't want you to go. So she's like, there is one more, please. I have one more in the comments. So let me just search back for you. And so that question was about followership on a personal or individual page, or on a company page, how you can build it better and faster.
How do I build my followership fast on my personal profile and company page? Okay. On your personal profile, when you're up to around the 25 to 26,000 connections mark, that is when I recommend that you change over to creator mode, which will then change your button from connect to follow. Okay, so prior to that, you want to build up your connections up to around the 25, 26,000 mark, and then change in creator mode, and that will activate that button from connect to follow. Okay.
Okay, one more time. I think we have to repeat this, because I think if I didn't understand, I think we have to repeat one more time.
Sorry, I should have explained that more clearly. On your personal profile, you're allowed up to 30,000 first level connections. Okay. So when you get up to the 25,000 connection mark, first level connections, that is when I recommend that you activate creator mode, which will then change the button on your personal profile from connect to then read follow.
So until then, you don't recommend to put on the creator profile?
No.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Okay. With your company page, I built up 3 company pages very successfully, and all I did was post articles, but I did it consistently and regularly. And I actually used Hootsuite to do that. So only with my company pages. Okay.
So you scheduled it with Hootsuite for the company page, and you had a consistent posting, and it just comes because people read it like a blog or something like that, right? Okay.
Yep, exactly.
Nice. And we just spent an amazing time together. I think you had also a lot of questions. So now I will ask all the people who asked those questions: Yuva, Krishan, Alchan, Uduma, Embrin, Andrea. Please reach out to Derick and give him some recommendations. I'm sure he is collecting them. And also, I guess it's not a problem from me, Derick, to say that they can also reach out to you on LinkedIn. And if they have any questions or they want to work with you in the future, then just tell them that, okay, Derick, I was at this Global Empowerment Summit and I would love to connect with you. Then sure. Derick will accept those.
Just make sure you send me a personalized message when you request to connect, because I get hundreds of the things, and that's the way you need to stand out, is with those personalized request to connect messages.
They just had a training from Greg Smith, so now they know they have to talk about lost sheeps and cockadoos and all this, and 2 legs in 1 pant leg, so something like this, so that people know that it's something very special.
We do have a lot of fun here in Australia.
Yeah, it's really fun. I mean, I was talking to Greg for 30 minutes and I was just laughing. It's just so nice. The humor is so nice in your country.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I see Andrew is coming up, and I had an amazing time again. I appreciate you. I really appreciate. I do. Every time you come, you are bringing value to your audience. That's why you are so amazing. So thank you so much, Derick, for supporting.
My pleasure, Andrew. I'm happy to help anytime. Take care. And I know the Global Empowerment Summit is going to go extremely well. It's been just amazing so far. So keep up the great work.
Thank you so much. Bye-bye, Derick. Thank you for coming.
Bye-bye.
All right, next guest is up in the studio, and I'm so excited because yesterday with this guest we launched the first ever women startup competition in Kuala Lumpur in Southeast Asia, and you will see that he's amazing. He is wearing not just many hats. I mean, I think he's wearing the most hat of any people that I know, and he's still juggling it so graciously and smiling all the time. So I will bring up with this note Andrew. Andrew is a great friend I got to know not so late ago. And hi, Andrew, how are you? All in this brick wall. I can see your shirt totally like adapting to the background.
Yeah, I did something wrong with my setting, and I'm not sure how am I going to solve it. Well, oh, okay, okay. I think I know. Hang on, hang on.
I let you just adjust this, and then I'm saying goodbye.
Okay, got it.
Nice, much better, perfect. So thank you, Christian. Thank you, Jack. Thank you, Duma. Thank you, Yuba and Alchan and Andrea and Embrin for being here for the conversation with Derick. Please stay on. Now we will talk to someone who is leading an incubator, not just in Malaysia, but helping also in Philippines, in all Southeast Asia. And yeah, I'm just fascinated by your work and what you do. So let's talk about it. Andrew, tell us a little bit more about yourself. Who are you? What's your favorite food? Tell us something from personal and from professional side.
Uh, I'm a kind of person who like to work in the background.
I
So
know, but I had to
yeah.
bring you forward.
That's the problem. That's the problem. Yeah. So well, I'm an entrepreneur. I started my first entrepreneurial venture in 1997, and that was during the Asian financial crisis. And throughout those years, right, when I first started, nothing worked. Whatever business ideas that I had totally failed. Right, it was totally failed, and I was in the Death Valley for 7 years, up to 2005. Right, but of course, being the Death Valley, it's actually a very horrendous situation. But you just need to find some way to survive. So I learned a lot of lessons during those 7 years. And imagine you are eating nasi lemak, Maggi mee, and those days, right? It's so cheap. It's about 1 ringgit one pack. We still have it 1 ringgit one pack, but uh, those days 1 ringgit is quite a lot. It's really filling. So that's how I survived throughout the years, and I did a lot of bootstrapping work, providing services and whatnot. But of course, in 2005, I had my biggest break, not as a business, but as an opportunity to serve the community, especially the entrepreneurial community. So I started a resource center to help what you call SMEs, Malaysian SMEs, to try to understand what this term called globalization, and what you call WTO, and those were the buzzwords during the early years of 2000. And and of course, at the same time, how can technology help SMEs to become more competitive and to grow? So I was doing what we call e-enablement at that time. Compared to what we are doing here now today in 2022, we talk about digitalization. But I was there more than how many years? 17 years ago, right? Helping SMEs to digitalize, right? And so that was digitalization 1.0. And then when I had the opportunity to create an incubator, the first incubator that I did was in KL, and I finally found my calling. So I managed to mash passion and business together. And I think today you may want to consider building incubators as a social business. So I am creating a lot of social impact, and I love that feeling, the feeling of helping entrepreneurs, not going through what I've been through before, going through the Death Valley, trying to help them to shorten the Death Valley period, and creating and turning them into successful entrepreneurs. And I think that was the most powerful calling, and I was so glad that I actually embraced that, and I never turned back. If anyone asks me, right, what other business do you do? I say there's none other than helping entrepreneurs. So that's my business. Yeah.
I love
And,
you calling, and that's why we were like connecting, because there's so many similarities and so many things that we are doing parallelly. So I was thinking, okay, what if we join forces, and what if I help you and you help me, and then we create something unique and something that can really help the people additionally, because you are already doing so much work. So
yes,
we are separately doing so much work. So if we put all that together, I think that can be super powerful in
I
this region.
I I totally agree with you. I totally agree with you. And that's the philosophy that I'm having, and that's the philosophy I'm also imparting to my entrepreneurs. We can't live like an island nowadays. There's no such thing as, we have our own island, and that's it. We cannot succeed in business if we think in silos. So we have to work together, and that's the philosophy that I always tell my entrepreneurs, that you have to, if you want to create the future, you can't create the future alone. You have to create the future together. Because if you create the future alone, then you're the only one on the island, right? So so what is so interesting about being the only one in the island? So let's do it together, right? Let's make the world a little bit more beautiful and fun, and we all grow together as one. I think that's the kind of philosophy that I'm trying to do.
Hmm.
I call it ecosystem building,
Mhm.
and that's where I want every entrepreneur to build their own ecosystem, to find partners, to work with partners. Right? I know there are some bad experiences when it comes to partnership, but that that is actually the journey.
Hmm. It's
You
like
you
building your team. It's the same. Sometimes you have team members and then you have to let them go and then you have to build new ones, right?
right. So you need to embrace the good, the bad, and the ugly, right? That's the journey. Similarly, as we go through life, we also need to to embrace the good, the successes that we had, the bad people that we met, and the worst thing that we encountered. These are all part and parcel of our journey experience as an entrepreneur or as an individual, so that we can become successful in what we do. So, I'm trying to also encourage entrepreneurs, just embrace failures, just embrace all these things. If you have problem hiring people, that's the fact of life. So let's go, move on. Move on. Don't worry. Just
Focus on
move
the
on.
solution,
Become.
right?
Right, right. So I've been doing it for 17 years. Imagine, 17 years, in 2005 to 2022 right now,
How
and
many
counting.
entrepreneurs went through you? How many entrepreneurs have you empowered in these 17 years? Have you
At
ever
least,
counted?
I frankly speaking, I stopped counting, but at least 7,000. At least 7,000. And I
And I
I
know you
believe,
have a big number, yeah, a big dream to achieve, right?
yeah, I have a very big dream, right? Okay, first, my purpose, the purpose of why we are doing this is because we want to empower and help entrepreneurs along their success pathway. So every entrepreneurs, right, have their own success pathway that is based on the resources that they have, the network that they have, and so on. So our job is to help them to create that success pathway based on their strength. And our vision, our big goal, or big hairy audacious goal, is to empower 1 million entrepreneurs within the next 3 to 5 years.
1
Right.
billion.
And I can do it together with you.
Yes, I
Right? I
think
will,
we
I will
can.
be able to do it if you are in it. I will be able to do it if everyone is in it. Right? If everyone's on board, no selfishness, nothing. We only have one single mind, which is to help our fellow human being empower the entrepreneur so that they can also make a change in whatever they are doing right now.
Exactly. That's why we come along so well. We have exactly the same
Yeah,
purpose, to bring these people together and to encourage them and show them that we were talking about this with Brian Schulman from San Diego this morning, that it's just giving and we give, and then if someone comes along and plays with us and supports us, it's good. If someone is not playing with us, not coming with us, it's okay too.
yeah,
But
it's
I,
okay.
I believe because we are as much driven as we are, whoever comes along will just help us to grow, and we can help them too. So it becomes a self-accelerating circle upwards, and then we can reach our goals. That means they can reach their goals. And it's just so
Yeah.
beautiful, right?
Right. It's so beautiful. So to me, it's like I will only feel the growth of myself if I see the others are growing. So my success is their success. And it gets so exciting for me, every time I hear a business idea like yesterday, we talked about
Yes.
when we had a
It's
women
so
startup,
inspiring.
right?
And you
Yeah,
brought one of your mentees. I was so inspired by them. They were the nanny care.
yeah.
They were one of the entrepreneurs from school,
Mm,
from the Philippines, and they were so confident. And I loved how she was presenting. And although it was like, yes, it's not, it's they are still students. They still need mentoring. They got the third place, but it's like, it's just good to watch them with all that passion, and then, yes, I will go that, and I was at this competition, and then I go this to the other competition, and
yeah, I know. And when I heard that, you came from my incubator and you got the wrong advice. I got very upset. Then I actually took action and I tagged the incubator in Palawan. I say, who is giving her that kind of advice? So apparently there's none, no, none of them. So immediately on the same night, we decided to set a mentoring session, with her in the following week. So that's how fast we want to act. Right? We want to make
yeah,
sure that she's on the right track. And definitely there's a lot of potential in that because I could really see it. But I think the way she structured her business and the business model is it's just not there. So
yeah,
it's
it's
time for me
okay,
to
but
get in.
she has the grit, she has the confidence, and she has this kind of showing up. So she's definitely someone who can lead the face of the business, because she has the charisma
Yeah.
to show, okay, this is me, this is what I'm doing, this is who I'm helping. So if something is put below her and helping her to put together a very nice business plan. So I was really, really, really surprised, and I was really amazed by yesterday's competition. And guys, if you haven't watched it, it's up on the YouTube channel, so please watch the whole pitching session. We had 5 amazing ladies presenting yesterday, and one of them won, and she will be representing Southeast Asia in the European final. And I'm so, so, so amazed by this, and happy that we can start something like this just together with Andrew and with Tamás from Hungary, and
I
connecting with
I I
the
I can promise you that next year we will get more. We will get more.
Yeah, we
You
will
have
do
my
an
word to that.
in-person event. I'm already planning my in-person summit. So we do it together, and then we make a very huge pitching session in the middle of it.
Right, 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 right. Yeah. So
Yes,
so
it's so
yeah.
nice.
And entrepreneurship is my passion. So I always tell my entrepreneurs, I say, look, you have to talk to me. You have to engage with me. I am here all the time. So if you don't talk to me, I just feel that my life has no meaning. So keep talking. And so every time I get someone to ping me, right, I feel that my smile lights up, that kind of thing. Otherwise, it's so meaningless living in this world, not helping other people.
It's so true. It's so true. And then we didn't talk about this, but there is a new way of investment, and a new not breed, but some kind of people who are themselves entrepreneurs,
Hmm.
and they themselves are investing into other entrepreneurs. And I saw it with Aliyah yesterday. I know
Mm-hmm.
that you are also investing in people. So
Mm.
what is this new wave? Why do you believe in investing yourself into the entrepreneurs that you are mentoring?
Because I feel that they deserve the chance, right? So you first of all you have to understand one thing. It's not easy to get investment, and 99% of entrepreneurs don't get invested. So they deserve a chance, right? So this is where incubators like us comes into play and invest in them, help them to go through the difficult period, and then at the same time help them to get the traction
Mhm,
so that they
mhm.
become investable. But usually when we look at we don't really look so much of the business. We know the business we can tweak, but we look at the entrepreneur. So that's the reason why you remember the if I'm not wrong, the first pitch. And the first pitch was this lady who actually created the hypoallergenic kind of
Yes,
cream.
yes. Hello, baby. Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I can invest in her. That's the reason why I volunteered and said, look, come and talk to me. I know how to turn this business around.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Uh, it's not about the money, It's about how if you get it right, the people will come. But I think she didn't get it right. That's why she didn't have the kind of traction. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm investing in that because I believe in that. Right?
Nice. It's a
Uh,
good outcome already for the first time.
yeah. So it's
And
not necessary in terms of investing in money, right? But you have to invest in the person first. So so when we look at uh, who do we want to invest our time with, it's always about the entrepreneur character.
Mhm,
We want to know, whether we can work with the entrepreneur and whether the entrepreneur is open to suggestions, to changes and whatnot. And important thing is whether the entrepreneur is resilient enough. He must
mhm.
be strong. It, Entrepreneurship is not for the weak-hearted.
That's so true. You have
If
to
you are
get up every
scared,
day. You
right?
have to
If you
start
are
every
scared,
day.
go and
Failures,
get a
you have to
job.
come
Go and get
again.
a job, right? Yeah, it's not for the weak-hearted. Well, it's full of ups and downs, and more down than up, right? But when you hit up, then it kind of like compensates for all the downs that you've been through, right? Uh, so
Yeah,
that's what
correct.
I like about entrepreneurship. I find entrepreneurship is I have to say this, but I know a lot of people will disagree with me. I find it very easy for me. I find it very
Easy.
easy. Yeah, I find it very easy to do business, to 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 start a business and to grow it. Because why? I think because of the years of experiences that I had,
Mhm.
and a lot of downs that I faced,
Yeah,
and
I
I
think
kind
that's
of
that's
knew.
one of them. It's even in personal life. If you had experience, I found that those people who went through a lot of hinders and a lot of negative experiences,
Hmm,
a lot of challenges, they are coming out so much stronger that they already have been down, so they know what can be worse. So if there's a little problem, they are not afraid. And those who
yeah,
have been tempered by a super good life, by everything just coming in front of them, there comes like a very very simple challenge, like I don't know, electricity outage, or I don't know, it can be
yeah,
anything.
yeah. You
And
you
then,
you you hit the point. You hit the point. Because you need. I've gone through all the the failures. I've gone through all the fears. So nothing scares me anymore. Right? Nothing scares me anymore. So it's just to me part and parcel of a journey. So along the journey, including our life journey, we always have, yeah, failures. We also have happiness and whatnot, right? But that is life. So similarly, entrepreneurship is life, and there's a method to go through it. So we have the method, right? So there's certain things that I put my entrepreneurs to a certain pace, right? They have to pace themselves, go through the methodology and whatnot, and eventually come out even more stronger. Then when they are stronger, then they know what they need to do. All we need to do as a facilitator or incubator is to give them the resources. Once
mhm,
they have the resources, that's it. They will be creative enough to use them. So that is the method. Method is getting the fundamentals right, the strategy right, and then give them the resources so that they can do all the connection.
and
Yeah.
we have one question coming in from Embrin Nadim. She's asking, entrepreneurship is a long journey. I have seen many people give up way too soon. What is your advice to them to keep going and not giving up?
Uh, yeah. Actually, this is a tough question. You know why? Because it very much depends on our mindset. right? So if our mindset is very small, if you have a small mindset, we will definitely give up. Okay. But if our mindset is bigger than ourselves, then we always see the future.
Mm.
I give you one example. Like 7 years in the Death Valley, right? Nothing worked. I'm what so deep in debt. I have banks knocking at my door, right? I have my car being towed away. So I have all this. And I have a 20,000 ringgit job right in front of me. Somebody offered me a job and said, you know, the job is yours. But I decided I still want to stick to entrepreneurship. So frankly speaking, I had no regret. Even if I think back about the 20,000 ringgit job at that time, that was 1998. I had no regret, right? So I don't think back, but I try to think forward. But now I have I can teach entrepreneurs to really think about what matters most when they want to start a business. So important thing is you need to have number one, this is the most important criteria. You need to have resources that you can control. And what are the resources you can control? The most basic resources you can control is who am I, what I know, who I know. Important. If you take an inventory of these three things, right, then you can determine exactly what are the kind of business ideas that you can do, which is within your control. That is important. Don't follow the trend. If you follow the trend, like for example, now we talk about technology, you talk about big data, and you who have no idea about big data, you try to go into big data, then you're dead, right? Because you don't understand the industry. So always look at what you know, who you are, because we know who you are is based on your strength, your weaknesses, right? Take a good look at yourself, what you can and what you cannot do. Like me, when I first started my business, and I still am right now, I'm a very shy person, right? I'm a very introvert. Okay, I'm introvert. So you ask me to go for a networking session, I will just take my food and go to one corner and eat it without even networking with anybody. So that's me, right? I know my weaknesses. So every time I go to some places like this, I have someone to follow me. So that person is the one who is the more outspoken, talkative kind of person. I just stand there and listen. That's all I do. Okay. So you must know who you are. Then what you know will be your experiences, your knowledge, your what you studied, and what you learn from other people. These are all what you know, and of course who you know. Okay, so from these three, you will know exactly what kind of business ideas you can do. All right, what kind of business ideas you can do. So just say, assuming you have 5 business ideas or 10 business ideas, which one am I going to which one am I going to do? So 4 decision criteria. Number one, does it make money or not? Okay, does it make money? That means is the market big enough for you to make money? Number two is it feasible to be done? Whether it's technologically feasible, economically feasible, socially feasible, market feasible, etc. Third is very much within yourself. Do you have the resources to do it? If you don't have the resources, can you find the resources or not based on who you know? Okay, find the resources. If you can, then the fourth is most important to you. Do you want to do this or not? Right? Does it fuels your passion, to be able to do this? If you answer yes, 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 then you have narrowed down your ideas already. Maybe you narrow down to the top 3 ideas. Okay, fine, good. Now you have to do market validation exercise. Go out and talk to people. Ask questions, do market research and whatnot. Okay, so that's another discipline altogether. I'm not going to elaborate in here for time reason. So you do market validation exercise, and out of your market validation exercise, you will probably be able to determine which of your top 3 ideas is going to be your top idea that you want to do. then that's the one that you will develop the business model, right? The business model, the strategy, of course, your financial modeling, etc., etc. That's how you should be doing it when you start a business. If you are able to do this, right, that means you are doing something that is within your control. If there are elements that is out of your control, please do not do anything because chances are you will fail.
Hmm.
Okay. Now, the most important thing that everyone should know, whether you're an entrepreneur or you're a career worker or you are a housewife or whatnot, is number one, you create your own destiny. Okay. You create your own future. So your business is your future, right? You are the pilot in the plane. You decide where you want to fly this plane to or where you want to steer this ship to. But there is always a North Star, right? Just as every ship captain, if they don't have their compass, they will always look for the North Star. The North Star is your direction. Okay. Now, if you are able to create the future, right, the destiny that you have, you will be able to control the future. You don't even need to predict the future because the future is yours. And that's exactly what I'm doing right now. I'm building that future. That future is the future of entrepreneurs. The world of entrepreneurs, a community of entrepreneurs, imagine 1 million entrepreneurs in a community, right? It is an economic ecosystem by itself.
Hmm.
That's the reason why we call it entrepreneurs empowering entrepreneurs, because we will be empowering each other inside the ecosystem. And I'm not stopping at 1 million, okay? I'm going to build because you know why? In this world today, there are at least 400 million entrepreneurs. Why stop at 1 million? You know, it is a country by itself, you know. Imagine that. But of course, this country is in North America, Asia, you know, Europe, South America, Southeast Asia, you know, they are all over the place. So that's why we built a platform. This platform is called the Global Entrepreneurs Acceleration Network. We put everybody in together. We do business with one another. We empower one another. Uh, that is the biggest vision that I'm going to have. That will be, you know, this is something I will realize before I pass on.
That's your
I will
legacy.
realize before I pass on. Alright? Yeah. So so that's it. Because when you have that, you have resources. And when you have resources, you can do anything. Okay. So very important. Do something that is within your control. If not within your control, don't do it. You will fail. And that's what happened to 95% of entrepreneurs. Right? 95% of entrepreneurs dies in the first year because they never think about resources. Do I have the resources to do this? If you do, no matter how small the business is, it's still okay. It's still okay. Start small. Don't worry. Start small. Go big. You know why? Because, okay, since we're all talking about ladies right now, right? You know the brand Tiffany? Of course, I'm sure everyone knows. I'm sure you know, right, Andrea?
Of
Tiffany?
course, I know
Of
breakfast at
course. Okay.
Tiffany is my favorite.
Let me ask you one question. Let me ask you one question. Do you know what is the first business of Tiffany?
Hmm? Tell me.
Come on, why don't we ask the audience? Do you know what is Tiffany's first business?
Write in the chat if you know what was the first business first
Yeah.
of Tiffany. Write it in the chat if you know, guys.
I give you 10 seconds, right? It's counting now. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, time out.
Not yet. So they are a bit slow in typing. So tell us, Andrew, what was the first one?
Stationery shop. Can you imagine Tiffany that you know today as a jeweler started as a stationery shop? It is one end of another extreme, right? So don't worry about business, right? Start with something that you can do first. Because why? When you do it, then the universe will come. It will come and enrich you. More people will come. Then your network will continue to build. And when your network continue to build, remember, who am I, what I know, who I know, then you have more opportunities. You have more keys to unlock more doors, open up more windows, right? So start small. Don't worry about being too small. Just start. Important thing is take action. Start. Don't think. Don't feel like I feel like I want to start a business. No. Do it now. Right? If you need help, that's where you come to me.
Thank you so much, Andrew. I love those 30 minutes together, and Micheal is already in the studio, and I will bring him up. And thank you so much. Thank you for being the jury yesterday at the Women Startup Competition, and thank you for bringing your vision and empowering so many. I know that we will collaborate a lot because all what you do is the same. We have similar purpose, so I'm sure that together we can also be stronger. And thank you so much for what you do, and keep on going, keep on thriving, and I'm there to support you whenever you need me.
If my time up already?
Yes, 30 minutes done. But if
I'm
you
just
want to
warming
come back,
up. I'm just
have
warming up.
I have 4 weeks to go, so if you want to come back, then you can come back.
Oh no, I'll be traveling after this, so I wish you all the best in your remaining 4 weeks, right? And I believe that it's good work. All we need now is to shout out a lot about the Global Entrepreneur. Summit.
Yeah, the
So
Global
let's
Empowerment
work
Summit. Yes,
together.
exactly. We
Let's
will do
work
it next
together.
year in person.
Mm.
Thank you so much. Bye bye,
Okay.
Andrew. Thank you. Have
Okay.
a
Bye
nice.
bye. Bye bye.
And in the meantime, while we're switching experts, I just update you that you can still go to the globalempowermenthub.com website and play with us. Don't forget, we have a game created by Shiv from Giants and Titans, and it's going on for the 5 weeks of the summit. And you can win while you are playing. Every Friday and Saturday, we are updating the questions and you are collecting points. Just don't forget, always log in with the same email address so that your points are collecting under the same account. Okay, I'm bringing up Micheal, old friend, new friend. We just met. I'm so excited to have you here in the studio. And here we are.
Hello, Andrew. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. Spending my beautiful sunshiny Sunday in front of my computer with you all.
Yeah, it's a beautiful day here as well, but I'm pleased and grateful to be here. So thanks for having me again.
It's amazing to have you, Micheal. And I was just telling to the audience that I met you in person in London, and it was the first time we have ever met, and it was such a nice things to do.
Yeah, I think these days we're so caught up in technology and Zoom and all the rest of it because of COVID that sometimes we forget how fun and rewarding it is to meet up in person, right?
Exactly. It gives an extra edge to the whole relationship and the friendship, and I think that's why next year we will have our first in-person Global Empowerment Summit. I'm so excited to have you all here in Malaysia, Kuala Lumpur, or Singapore. I haven't decided yet. So yeah, exciting future plans. But tell us about yourself. Like, what happened to you since we didn't see before we get into the serious questions? What happened to you? How have you been? I know that you were traveling a lot, right?
Yeah. Well, I traveled when I saw you. That was the end of a 6-week trip, so that was fantastic. Trip around Europe, kind of a trip of a lifetime. But I intend to do that every year if I can. So, but yeah, just busy sharing the message, building the community, growing the businesses. Super exciting, actually. I'm more excited about my life now than I think I ever have been. So yeah, things are really good.
And you are building also other people because your community is just growing. I know that you have an amazing job with Wasim doing it together for a long time now, and you have many members already. You are empowering them in the digital space, in the digital wealth space, and it's an amazing work what you both do. But next to it, you also have your own story, and today we are here to talk about that. So tell me a little bit about and us a little bit about your Bitcoin and blockchain and cryptocurrency history and everything what you do in this space.
Yeah, so I guess for me, I started coding at the age of 12, and I actually have a first class honors degree in software engineering here in Australia. So I'm pretty accustomed with technology. I created my first IT company at age 16, sold it a few years later to a bigger company. And the main business I found is actually called Easy Employer, and I'm a director of it now. That's a successful 7-figure revenue company now. I've got hundreds of clients around the world and staff in multiple countries. And in fact, I actually counted them today. I'm involved in 12 technology companies at the moment, either as an owner, a director, or an advisor. But in terms of crypto, which is really my passion at the moment, that started mining in 2013 just off my laptop, but I didn't have the insight back then to keep going. So when I wasn't making much money, I stopped. But it was many years later, actually in 2017, when I saw a lot of my friends making like stacks of money from crypto, and they didn't even understand technology. I'm like, I need to look into this. And at the time, it was actually challenging for me because the business that I was building, Easy Employer, was actually leveraged in debt, and we were burning tens of thousands of dollars of cash every month trying to scale, and a lot of stress. And when I jumped into crypto and started making, thousands of dollars within weeks, even more, tens of thousands, I thought, hey, this could be the answer to funding everything and managing all the debt that we were in. And so I dived in full steam. I spent 70, 80 hours a week, I reckon, just researching, flipping projects, trading. And literally within 4 months, I turned like 15K into nearly $500,000 US. And I thought, wow, like this is incredible. I'm going to be a millionaire. I'm going to be, having the time of my life. And, I'd been investing for a while, but I didn't understand crypto market cycles. And honestly, I got super greedy, and I just tried to make more and more money. And it turns out at that time, I lost a lot of those profits. And a lot of the big lessons that I learned in crypto that I'm now able to teach was actually from that period, But actually that did trigger actually probably the toughest time of my life. In 2018, I was in a lot of financial distress because, I thought my way out was going to be all the profits from crypto, and the business was still burning cash. And so it was really challenging. I nearly lost my life actually in that period of time, and that's a whole nother story. But a couple of years later, I rebuilt myself, and I came out of that saying, well, how can I actually pursue a life of meaning, not just making money? And that's what led me to founding Breakout Solutions in 2020. And the idea was helping people create financial independence in their lives so they can avoid the struggles that nearly cost me my life, And now fast forward, we got about 500 members. We've made some of them stacks of money in 2021. And I think more importantly, we're helping people lay the foundations for creating like sustainable wealth for the years to come, and all through blockchain and digital assets. And you probably don't know this, but we're just about to launch our Financial Freedom Foundation. So this is an initiative to help people in lesser privileged countries where we're going to teach them financial literacy. We're going to help fund their initial investment and help them on this financial independence journey as well. So that's super exciting.
Well, congratulations. That's something amazing. And I think there will be many, many people who need this help. I was just talking to many people from Africa right now, and then they have so much struggle to build their own businesses. There is not really straight access to their money. So I think the new way of having this financial systems and the decentralized markets and all these opportunities coming up can help these over-controlled countries to just get some freedom and to individually get a little bit better and financially. So congratulating and salute you for doing the foundation.
Yeah, we're super excited about it.
So let's talk about why Breakout Solution. Where is the name from? Why did you choose this one? It's a very interesting one, and I always wanted to ask you the question.
Yeah, so it kind of ties into that 2018 period that I went through. Business was burning cash. I was working crazy hours under so much pressure and stress. I was partying. I was not eating well. I was living a really unhealthy life. And when I look back, a lot of it was like escapism. I was trying to get away from the stress and all the rest of it. And yeah, it was quite challenging. Like I said, I got quite in the wrong mindset, depressed and suicidal. And that's what was really close at that time. And a large part of it was I just thought I was going to lose everything, all my family's wealth, all the properties that we had on the line. And just the pressure and stress, it was just too much for me at that time, But it forced me, like I had a nervous breakdown, and it forced me to go through this process of discovering who I am, what I'm about, and rebuild, and I kind of came out of that, and I'm like, wow, like I live such a privileged life, so grateful for that, took it away because of these pressures, and stresses. And I think what I then went on to dig into was, the financial system and the pressures that everyone goes in, how the economics. For me, I talk about it as, I call this, actually, I'll probably kind of explain it this way. So there's probably a combination of four things that led to breakout. One, growing up in such a privileged world without financial education. There's nothing that teaches you financial education, even in the wonderful system we have in the West. And even just simply how to compound interest early on in your life can give you all these benefits later. Never really learned that, until later on. Nearly losing my life to financial struggles and kind of realizing a lot of the knowledge I'd accumulated in relation to technology and all that, I could help others. So that was a big thing. Nearly losing my tech business in 2020 as well when COVID hit. This was the second tough period I went to. The banks really just didn't give two hoots about us. And then also just the way the central banks, institutions and governments, manipulate money to shift wealth from the average person to the rich, and realizing I was actually a part of that system was quite an eye opener. So it was a case of, breaking out of this system. And as a funny story that comes to mind, actually, in terms of, corruption, I suppose, and banks and all the rest of it. And it actually came to me when I was on the trip in Europe recently. I was in Genoa, which is a place in Italy. And fun fact is, Genoa actually had the first ever bank and the first ever stock exchange ever in the world. I never knew about it. But more importantly to the story, they had the most powerful navy back in the 12th century. Okay, so they were all across the sea. And because a lot of the trade routes led to Genoa, the English, basically what they did is they paid the Genoan Navy to use their flag, their Red Cross, the St. George's Cross. So when they were traveling on their ships, no one would attack them because they thought they were the Genoan army. Now, they paid a privilege to Genoa for this ability, and eventually the English stole that flag effectively, called it their own. That's what you see now, the Red Cross. And they just stopped paying the yearly fee to the Genoan Navy and just said, "Hey, sorry, we're going to use this privilege without paying for it." So, stories go back a long way, I think, in terms of manipulation and all the rest of it. So, it's kind of all of these things together where I came towards starting that business in late 2020.
I think it's something super important what you just mentioned right now, because manipulation is not just coming on a financial angle. It's also coming from everywhere, like marketing. It's coming from the access to social medias. We just know that WhatsApp was down, and it was bringing up a lot of questions. What if other powerful people with all this power in the digital world will say, okay, you cannot access this one today because I don't want you to access it, and what will happen to you? So the decentralization and bringing up ways of people to be still able to exist outside the system, if the system is not making them able to do so, it's something that is super important nowadays to reduce the dependability on these systems, right?
Absolutely. Well said.
Sorry, I'm in this philosophical mode. You took me to it with Geneva and all the flags and the banks and everything. All right. So let's go further and explore about crypto, because that's actually your main area of expertise. You're helping people to just get familiar with this space and with the markets and what they can do on the market, what is not supposed to be done. So tell us a little bit about crypto in a simple way so that everyone can understand it.
Yeah. It's interesting because crypto, it's such a vague description because it encompasses so many different and disparate elements. So a lot of people just kind of believe what the media tells them. It's a scam, or at best, it's too volatile. It's not backed by anything. You're going to lose your money. This is what people are taught. This is what the media tells them. And honestly, the fear and the misinformation about this technology, for me, in the 25 years I've been in tech, is the biggest I've ever seen. It's the least understood technology. And I suppose you got to go back to the basics, right? And what's underpinning it is blockchain technology. And that's really where the revolution is. And I guess the way to think about that is it's like a big database that's duplicated millions of times across a whole network of computers. It's public, verifiable. It's almost impossible to hack because it is distributed so many places. And I guess that technology essentially allows you to have digital information that can be distributed but not copied. Okay, not copied. So each piece of data only has one owner, and so it allows for these digital assets or this digital ownership to work on any assets. This unique digital ownership, and not just the currency. But the reality is Bitcoin is, I guess, the king. It's the first and dominant cryptocurrency. The key things you got to know about it: super scarce. The monetary policy is locked in code. So we know exactly how many Bitcoins are going to come into circulation. There's no human intervention where they can just go and create more Bitcoins out of thin air like we see in the fiat system. So therefore, because it's got that scarcity, it's seen as a strong store of value. And they often people call it digital gold. You can send it anywhere, nearly minimal fees. It's the best performing asset class ever. But a lot of people think it's just a currency, but it's really a whole digital monetary system. And we've never seen something like this before. And, one day it could become a reserve currency or a type of reserve currency. And one thing to understand is, well, people think, oh, well, it's too expensive. How can I afford, a Bitcoin? But, you can buy something as little as one Satoshi. And to give you an idea what that would mean, let's say if Bitcoin does hit $1 million US per coin at one year, then one Satoshi would equal 1 US cent, right? So we might be walking around saying, well, how many Satoshis is that? Things like that. But just understand, like, Bitcoin is just one application of blockchain technology in the currency space. So it's one very, very small use case. There are so many other subsets. So the whole infrastructure of the new internet is being built on blockchain technology, right? That's empowering Web3, which is this new version of the internet that's owned by the people. You mentioned it, decentralized finance, or DeFi, which is probably the most exciting part for me. You have gaming and play to earn, which is going to be it already is big, but it's going to be massive. Metaverses, if you've seen Ready Player One, that's exactly where I think we're going. NFTs, and all of these individual implementations all are a part of crypto, but all very, very different. And I think for me, and this is where I suppose my belief is so strong, that I think it's not just one of the biggest technological advances. I also believe it's the greatest investment opportunity we've seen since then too. But here's the key bit. I believe it is an instrumental advancement for humankind in today's world. And I'm happy to dive into that, because I think there's a really key message around that is lost in all of this. Let's make money and it's a scam and all this kind of stuff,
Hi, Jahangir. I just saying hi to Krishan and Jahangir watching us from India and from Malaysia. I'm so happy to see you. For Facebook users, so sorry I don't see who you are, because through this application I can't see your name. But hello, and nice that you are here. Hello, Embrin, also nice that you are tuning in. And we are talking about the blockchain technology. We are talking about decentralized finance. We are talking about the future of digital wealth and creating your own wealth. And now we are slowly touching on the fact that, okay, creating our digital wealth, but how can we do it safely? Like, we all know that it's deep diving now. Maybe there will be just now going upwards, but it's always a little bit of maybe. So if someone is just getting to this market, would like to be there, would like to invest, where to start, and what's the safe way?
What's the safe way? So that's
is there any?
Yeah, absolutely. There is a safe way. So look, how would you start? So if you're doing it by yourself, that can be quite challenging. So you can do your own research, but really you need to understand the technical elements. You need to understand how to research projects. You need to possibly know how to read markets. You really need to have someone who has experience in technology, in economics, in trading. It's a very specialized niche, right? So you definitely need a guide on that journey. You need someone who's been there, done that, made the mistakes. You probably need a good community as well, because you can never learn everything. We've got a community now of over 500 people, and we're always learning from each other, including myself. So you need a lot of that. There are basic fundamentals, like, if you just want to buy Bitcoin, Ethereum, and hold that longer term, that's the easiest way to do it. That's probably the safest way to do it. Maybe you'll 5 or 10x over a longer term with that, but you're going to miss out on a lot of the most exciting parts and a lot of the bigger gains and the ability, the way that we actually teach creating sustainable wealth is not just buying and selling coins. And you don't learn that by by looking at, who's on YouTube and what they're buying or selling or whatever. So it is kind of a combination of a bunch of things. But I would love to dive a little bit into. I think before we start jumping into how do you get invested and how do you make money, why are cryptos important, right? Mm-hmm. And I think that's a really key element for me, because we start with teaching how to make money because that's really what people see as the most relevant thing for them, But for me, I think it's a lot deeper that. It's a lot deeper than that, So look, let me ask this question. With so much money as there is in the world, I mean, there's hundreds of trillions of dollars, right? How can we have so many countries struggling, and the majority of the world that is starting to creep closer and closer to the poverty line, And this is the key thing that we bring awareness to, is wealth and power is concentrated to a very select few people that over the years have maneuvered themselves into positions of control and dominance, especially over the financial system. And if you study any of the current financial system and how the US Federal Reserve influences that, and what their mandate was 100 years ago and what the fiat standard is about, Australian dollars, US dollars, you quickly realize that the system is built to transfer money from the masses to the elite, and people talk about inflation. And the way that I explain inflation to people is inflation is nothing more than theft. And debt is what I call the thief that enters your financial home, and it's the worst part of all of this is that we've actually been conditioned to accept all of this, that everything's normal. We should work 40, 60 hours a week. We could slave away until we hit age 65. And then you can start living your life, and this system, this financial system, we call this the financial matrix. And you asked a question before, like, why is it called Breakout Solutions? It's called Breakout Solutions to bring education to people to see that they're in this financial matrix, just like Neo is in the movie. And you have an option to opt out and to go, okay, I want out of that, and I want to start taking control and building wealth on my own terms rather than what's in a rigged system. And look, honestly, we could be on the verge of one of the biggest crashes in financial history. It could be weeks away, it could be months away. It may never happen, but if it does happen, it could be the biggest thing we've ever seen. And it just reminds me of another story, if you don't mind. Another city we visited in Europe, Pompeii, right?
Yes, Pompeii,
right? Yeah. And so Pompeii was a thriving and sophisticated Roman city that ended up completely under ash after the devastating eruption of Mount Vesuvius. I think it was in like 80 AD or something like that. And it wiped everyone out. Now, this thriving civilization, who was the peak of their time, was living right next to this volcano for centuries, right underneath it. And they had no idea of its catastrophic potential. And then eventually it blew up and it wiped everyone out. And as soon as I kind of understood that story, I went, you know what? That's what we're living in today with the financial system. And that's what people don't understand. It is so dysfunctional on so many levels, with the massive amounts of sovereign debt and all these instruments that are all piggybacked on each other.
Extra into the not existing money.
Yeah, absolutely. It literally will only take one of these dominoes to fall over that they don't catch, and the whole thing, can blow up and, destroy a lot of things in the process. And this is why I feel so obliged to be sharing this and teaching this message. It's not just about how to make money. It is the revolutions that this technology is creating. And there are actually three. This is the interesting thing. People see crypto as, well, it's risky, it's speculative, it's gambling, it's making money. But if you look underneath that and you look to the underlying technology, there's a monetary revolution. So Bitcoin is a monetary revolution. It's a self-sovereign form of money. No one can take it away from you. So it's displacing like government issued money, right? Fiat money, traditional monetary policy organizations like the Federal Reserve. Bitcoin can actually replace that whole thing. Number two, financial revolution. And you've mentioned this a couple of times, decentralized finance, platforms and services that can power efficient and transparent financial capability. So this will start to displace what I call financial intermediaries, who take a lot of the cuddle on the way, brokers, agents, and all these other guys. And the last one, I did touch on it, is Web 3.0, the internet revolution, right? So a lot of people don't know that in the 90s, and I was just old enough to be around when the internet was being created, it was supposed to be user-owned. Everyone was supposed to own their own information. It was supposed to profit everyone. But then all the Web 2 guys took over, and made it all about them. So Web3 puts that power back into the hands of the people. Fights censorship, preserves privacy, helps to enable sovereignty. So there's these three revolutions that are happening all underneath this geyser of crypto, and all people see is the stories of someone made heaps of money in Dogecoin, or someone lost a whole bunch of money, or someone got hacked. And there is a bunch of that, but underneath it it's so much more important. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes total sense, and I would love to talk about it more. Maybe I will call you back again in the next upcoming weeks. But we also have a workshop with you, and I have to run soon to open up. Like in 5 minutes, I have to already open up the first ever bootcamp room happening here at the Global Empowerment Summit, and you will have your own bootcamp also. So tell us a little bit about it very quickly, and then I will jump to open the Zoom room where Roland is already waiting with startup pitching.
Yeah, awesome. So we do have the workshop. I think it's next Sunday, and basically a lot of stuff I've been talking about, but it's going to be kind of mainly focused around the investment side, because that's really where we spend a lot of our time now. So I'm going to go through basically secrets on how the wealthy get rich to start with, and there's particular ways that they go about that. And there's a particular way that we teach investing in crypto, which is largely around creating multiple passive income streams. So at the moment, I've got 7 or 8 passive income streams in crypto. I'm actually earning over $5,000 a week. And this is the same strategies that we teach our members. So it's not just buying and selling coins. It's about how do we build passive income streams. Maybe we can buy and sell some stuff. We use that to top up our passive income streams, and we keep building and building and building and growing until those can replace your wage. Then you have financial independence, right? And then we can go further. What's your dream life? How do we create that? So the workshop, we're going to go into a little bit of all of this stuff. What's the emerging financial system? We're also going to touch on mindset, financial mindset as well. And Wasim's going to join me. He's one of my business partners. He's an experienced coach, mentor, and NLP practitioner. So he's going to go into what does it take to actually build and hold wealth. And I'm going to dive into all of these strategic elements around passive income, how you can reliably create wealth from this space, how you can manage your risk. So it was actually a bunch of new content that we're going to be using next week.
I'm excited. And guys, if you want to subscribe, then please use the coupon code below, because many of you were asking whether you can come for individual classes only and not for all the bundles, because not all of you are available. So you can use this coupon code to buy the individual ticket class 50% off if you are already subscribed participant. So please come and join Micheal and Wasim. I'm excited. Now we have to rush. Thank you so much for this conversation, and I will see you very, very soon. And please, if you are rewatching this, make sure that you are putting your questions. Micheal and Wasim will check out this video, especially because they are always helping and supporting people, so they will answer your questions even after this. So thank you so much for tuning in, and thank you, Micheal, for being here with us.
Yeah, no problems. Thanks for having me. Thanks, everyone. We'll see you next week.
See you. Bye-bye.